This could be huge for the Lakers if this player who spent most of his time in the G League dominating could break out this season for the Lakers and be a viable option. And that could come down to JJ Redick and how he views this Laker team and how he fundamentally thinks about basketball. What's good? I'm Okechi Apakama, and this is Lakers Digest coming at you with another video. And before we get into everything we have for you for today's video, guys, I just want to remind you to subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already to get those Laker updates. And training camp is only a week away, guys, and we also have a press conference tomorrow. So you guys want to make sure you guys are subscribed to Lakers Digest so you can get all those updates. Now, let's dive straight into today's topics as can Colin Castleton be the backup big? So, it has been well noted in most of his time here, Anthony Davis has been pretty prominent about wanting to play the 4 position and, doing different things on that end to help facilitate what he can do defensively and also ease the burden on him on that end as well. But the Lakers haven't really filled that void too well, with the exception of maybe Marc Gasol that one season and maybe even Andre Drummond later on. But the Lakers have been really trying to find that right person to back up Anthony Davis and be a viable option back there. Now, this is a guy who we really haven't talked too much about, one Colin Castleton, who spent most of his time with the G League team last year. Could he be an option for the Lakers, as Colin Castleton has the perfect skill set for the 2024 Lakers, according to this article here. Earlier this summer, Colin Castleton signed a second consecutive two-way contract with the Los Angeles Lakers. He appeared in just 16 games last season, averaging a mere 3.7 minutes per contest, but he played well in 24 appearances with the South Bay Lakers in the G League. And they went on to go a little bit more in that article talking about how Colin Castleton could help this Lakers squad, saying that across the G League regular season and the Showcase Cup competition, Castleton averaged 16.4 points per game, 10.6 rebounds per game, and 3.7 offensive boards per game, to go along with 3.2 assists per game, 1.6 blocks, and just under a steal per game in 28.8 minutes per game. Thriving in the G League doesn't necessarily prove that a player is ready to play postseason caliber minutes for an NBA roster. Castleton has been the epitome of steady growth, however, showcasing a willingness to expand his game and contribute in virtually every phase of it. That came to a head at the 2024 Summer League, where Castleton was arguably the best player on the Lakers, factoring in consistency and games played. Now, I also somewhat agree with that last part there because I do think Dalton Knecht was the Lakers' best player during Summer League, but as far as games played and then just how well he played consistently, Colin Castleton was the most consistent dude for the Lakers on that Summer League squad, which is what you're expecting for a second-year player, a guy who's been around the NBA a little bit and picked up on a few things. And it looks like Castleton was trying to expand his game, because if we take a look at his stats that aren't really too impressive from his NBA rookie season here, but he averaged just about over a point and a half per game, and then didn't really do too much with 0.8 rebounds. Like I said, he only averaged maybe 3.4 minutes, so he barely had any minutes at any time, and then there was no 3-point percentage because he didn't take any threes last season, at least at the NBA level. But at the G League level and then also in Summer League, Colin Castleton looks like to be expanding his game out to the 3-point shot and taking more of those shots, which can help facilitate his offense. And that's the thing that I want to get to with Colin Castleton, that what he can really help the Lakers in this role. Because I see Colin Castleton as a little bit of a Mason Plumlee-light player. And I view him as, in a sense, as he can be like a guy who can be a hub of offense, a guy who you can throw the ball to and help facilitate your offense and run a lot of dribble handoff actions, which can help facilitate guys like Dalton Knecht and Max Christie, and then also be a guy who can really hit guys for back cuts. And then there's a lot of guys on this team who are really good at back cutting. Jared Vanderbilt, Rui Hachimura, to name a few. Even Austin Reaves, if you give him a chance, can be a very solid cutter as well. And then you obviously have LeBron James, who's one of the best cutters of all time. So they have a bunch of different guys who can play off the ball, and then Colin Castleton's skills that he has on the ball can really make him be a benefit off the bench, especially if the Lakers are going to go to that option Anthony Davis as the hub of offense, because JJ Redick did talk about that in his introductory press conference, and I thought that was very interesting to view Anthony Davis as a hub of offense. So if you wanted to keep that same continuity of offense when Anthony Davis is off the floor, then you input Colin Castleton. While he doesn't have the same skills and athletic feats that a guy like Anthony Davis has, what he does have is a very high basketball IQ, very good at passing, and then he's starting to expand out further to hit not only that 18 to 20 mid-range jumper, but also that three-point jumper, which can really open up his game, especially those passing angles, and really do a lot of things for him. And he's also a pretty underrated ball handler at that position. That's why I kind of compared him to Plumlee, because those two guys, they have very similar ball handling skills, very similar passing skills. Isaiah Hartenstein's like another guy, like offensively, that I view a guy like Colin Castleton where he can possibly get to. Now, there is some other drawbacks, and that's kind of getting into our next topic here, but that also has to do with what JJ Redick views what the Lakers should do, and that is, will two big lineups be an option? So this is a pretty big idea, and something the Lakers haven't really done too much since that 2020 season, and actually I should say 2021 season, when they had Andre Drummond and Marc Gasol and Montrezl Harrell as those guys as the other centers. So they haven't really had too big looks, because Anthony Davis has been the sole big man along with LeBron James at the power forward. Yes, that allows Anthony Davis to do a lot of things at that center position, but there are benefits to having Anthony Davis at the forward position and utilizing his skills there, and then having another five-man do general five-man things. Input Colin Castleton. So where can he fit in that sort of scheme of things, or even some of the other bigs, because they didn't try it too much last year with Christian Wood and Jackson Hayes they had on the roster, and the now newly signed Christian Koloko would be another option that they can possibly put. But you need guys that can somewhat shoot and also somewhat space the floor in some ways, and Colin Castleton can do that, some with his passing, but also with now his expanding shot range. So the further and further he shoots back, then will allow for defenses to really push up on him more, and then, like I said, open up those passing lanes that can really help facilitate things. So will that lead to Lakers playing two big lineups? I don't know at this point, because we really haven't got too much from JJ Redick and what he really thinks on what the Lakers should do on that type of topic. Maybe we'll get that answer here within the next day during that press conference they had with Rob Pelinka. But as just far as what the Lakers have been doing, they haven't been doing it too much recently. So it's more safe to say that Colin Castleton will be more of that backup, big, break glass in case of emergency type of option person, more than a guy who's gonna thrust his way into regular minutes. While the way for him to thrust his way into regular minutes will have to be done on the defensive end, and see if there's growth on that side of the ball, because that's what's really been holding a guy like Colin Castleton back, because the offensive game is mostly there. Obviously he needs some more reps at that NBA level, but I do think it's something that could be a viable option for him in his career. But it's the defensive end, and it's just mostly his physicality, because he is a razor thin center. He is not too big as a defensive threat back there as in terms of physicality, because he's not going to really push guys off his spot. He is a good shot blocker because he's got pretty decent timing and he's got pretty good length. But there's a lot of guys that can go right through a guy like Colin Castleton, especially if they get the angle against him. So it's really going to determine if he shows growth in that area, because if he can show growth in that area and holding up physically and being able to just maybe not stop some of those bigger centers, but just be a bit of a deterrent, then you can see his way to get more minutes and then get more playing time, because I do think there are some things he can do on that end that can help us, especially with his rebounding too. He's a very solid rebounder, even though he's not a very physical presence. He used a lot of his length on that, very good rebounding with both hands, and then he's a good outlet passer as well. So he's a guy that is smart enough to get the ball up and look to his guards and then get the offensive rolling. So there's a lot of things that Colin Castleton can do, but he's going to have to work on his physicality and getting stronger if he's going to be able to take that grind and beating that you would in an NBA season. But let us know in the comments down below what you guys think of a guy like Colin Castleton. Do you think he can be a viable option for the Lakers at that backup big position, or do you think it's going to be somebody else like a Christian Koloko, or do you think Jackson Hayes more solidifies that spot, or do you think Christian Wood can come back from his injury and then take up that spot for the Lakers? Let us know in the comments down below. I have been your host, Okechi Apakama, and one more thing before, guys. There is just about 80% of you guys who are not subscribed to the channel just yet, and if you guys want more of that Laker news, like I said, especially with training camp starting next week, you guys are going to make sure you guys are subscribed to Lakers Digest. Now, like I said, I have been your host, Okechi Apakama, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.